So guys, I get asked quite a lot what I would recommend between the Kosner MK20 or the Optimix 10. So this video is going to be a breakdown of the different characteristics of the machines, and you'll find there's not a lot that is different between them, but I'm going to share my opinion and tell you why I believe one of them is more value for money and better than the other one. So I've used the Optimix quite a lot, and to be fair, a lot of people have bought the machine off of the content and videos that I was shooting using the Optimix, and I loved using it. Good machine. I used it towards the end of me actually getting rid of that machine. I used it mainly for base coating, and I had the setup for the mixing of the gear. So I used it a lot for base coat, dubbing out quite thick as well, to be fair. That's how I was doing a lot of my jobs, using the Optimix. So it was good when I had the mixing unit. To mix up constantly by hand and pouring it in, it was going to be a pain in the backside. Where the Optimix has come to get its good following and stuff is from a lot of the videos that I was putting out. So listen, this is not a video of me slagging off the Optimix. It is a good machine. I mean, I sold it to a friend of mine. I would not sell a machine to a friend of mine if I thought it was absolute pants. So it's not pants at all. But this is going to be a great comparison towards the new machine that I'm using now. And I'll break down why I prefer the Kosner over the Optimix. I'll tell you exactly the reasons why, and it's all down to personal preference. And my preference is something that I believe will benefit you as well. So not just saying it because I'm this team now, and you know I'm with P1 now and all that. I'm not saying it because of that. These are all facts. These are from my experiences. These are from using it, and literally it's facts. I'm not making it up or exaggerating anything. This is the truth of what actually works with these, you know, machines, what the differences are. So let me delve into it. The price point on these machines are exactly the same. I mean, obviously the guys over in Bradford sell the Optimix and they sell it for 4,500 plus VAT. P1 sell the Kosner for 4,500 plus VAT. So it's exactly the same price. That's what it is. The tank capacity. So this is how much material and product you can actually get into the hopper area. So the Optimix on the official website, it says that it can put 35 litres. That's the capacity of the tank, 35 litres. The Kosner is 38 litres, 3 litres more. Not massive, not going to change the world, but it's a little bit more. It's not going to, you know, you're not going to get another gear blend on with 3 litres, are you? Both machines come in 110 or 230 volt. Can't even remember if my Optimix was a 230, to be fair. God, it wasn't even long ago. But anyway, my Kosner is 230. I can't see there really being much difference in the different powers in them, to be honest with you. But we're not getting technical on this video. It's just the simple fact of they both provide the same power. They both can spray a similar distance. 40 meters is what they say on the websites for both machines, really. So yeah, that's I mean, I don't think anyone would really be spraying 40 meters of hose on any of them machines, to be honest with you. That's way overkill, but good to know that they can do that. This here is a big one, because remember, I always say that these machines are for people who are getting into the game and you're a bit worried about getting a mixing machine. You can use one of these to get in and use it for your base coats, and they're a bit smaller, a bit easier to use. But to be honest with you, they are mainly for doing the top coats and EWI, because you don't want to constantly be battering them with mixing up and that. It's just slow. You might as well buy a mixing machine. But the point is this: the weight of them, the weight of the machines. So the Optimix says it's 55 kg. Now I'm not sure if that's 55 kg with the compressor on top or without. It's quite a heavy machine to move about and lift about. I'm gonna go with it's 55 kg without the compressor, because yeah, it's got to be without the compressor, because it is a heavy unit. There's a lot of metal on there, really heavy to lift. It's got a big rotor and stator on the front and stuff like that, which you can physically see that, and they're not light. So I'm gonna go with it's 55 kg without the compressor. The Kosner machine comes in at 33 kg. Now this machine, I know I've lifted both. I've lifted the Kosner, as obviously it don't have a compressor built onto it. I've lifted the Kosner on its own, and it's easy. It's kind of the way it's balanced as well, the way it's distributed about, like the way it's set out, seems to be a good balance as well. Like not one end's not over heavier than the other side. Do you know what I mean? With the Optimix, it's an awkward shape, and I think yeah, it's heavier. It is heavier without it. I always took the compressor off to lift it, and it's heavier. They're both delivered when you buy them. They both come with air lines and material lines and tool bags, and they come with guns as well. You know, the lances for them. The only thing is, the Optimix, when it's delivered, it comes with a 15-meter material line and a 16-meter air line. So it's quite a long hose, quite a big hose. It's got its advantages and its disadvantages, I'll be honest with you. A lot of the time, 15 meters is like maximum what you would be using on most jobs anyway. You'd probably use a 5 and a 10 or a 10 and a 5. In that, I'm saying it that way because it's different orders. You know, usually you can switch it about whichever you want to do. You might be doing a garden wall one day and just need a 5-meter on. Do you know what I mean? So it's that type of, you know, to have the option there. So it's something I've always thought anyway. You know, when I was dealing with the guys up there, I always thought they should offer 2 hoses, a 5 and a 10. But I think cost wise, it just makes sense to stick in a 50, which can be a bit of a hindrance as far as the size. It's just a big long hose. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of a pain in the backside. You've got the length there, and you can get around the job. Like I say, it comes with a tool bag in there. It's got like stuff for cleaning out the airline. The cleaning balls that come with it. It's a neat little tool bag that comes with the Optimix as well, to be fair. The Kosner comes with an 8-meter delivery hose, and I think it'll probably be a 10-meter or a 9-meter air hose. And because I couldn't see that on the docks, but the reality is 8 meters. It will get you on a standard job like you're doing like a semi. It's 8 meters. You know, you have your machine there, 8 meters to the top. It's never 8. It's usually 5 to 6. So you have got enough there. I'll be honest with you, it would be nice if you got a little bit more with it. As far as, like I said, the option to have maybe another 5 onto that would be plenty. So if you've got an 8-meter and a 5-meter, you know, that's 13 meters. For me, that's more than enough to get me around the job usually, you know. Or you can just get an 8 and then pay for another 8. Again, it's you know, it's 16. That's 16 meters in it. So it's not too far off actually getting, you know, 5. You might as well get an 8. But yeah, I'm just saying it comes with an 8 as standard, and then the airline that goes with it as well. So it's less than you would get with the Optimix. But again, where do you want to sit with it? I mean, do you want to get a longer one and have loads of it hanging all over the place, or do you want to move the machine a little bit and be able to? I don't know. For me, I'd like to have an 8-meter and then, like I say, another 8-meter or a 5. I'm going to be difficult, but another 8. That's what I prefer. I know I'm not always going to need the full 15 or full 16. Majority of the time, I would just use one hose. So that's just my opinion on it. But yeah, Kosner comes with a tool bag, comes with cleaning balls, air cleaning stuff, all that kind of jazz. It already comes in it, but it actually comes in a tool box for the Kosner. And this is a little bit better, I'll be honest with you. When you get the lance for a Optimix, you get it's like a long lance. It's about this long, I'd say. It's aluminium. It's not that light. It's not heavy, but it's a big piece of kit. You know what I mean? To add on to end of the hose. It's decent size. But it's good. It's a good piece of kit. Spray coat through it, and you can spray your base coats through it. But it's just a little bit longer. When you get the Kosner one, this, instead of it being like the tool bag where the Optimix comes with like a little tool bag, like a zip thing, this comes like as a case. I'll show you. It comes as a case, and in the case you get the gun, so it's all in a nice little compartment thing like that. It's, you know, I mean it won't cost much more to do this rather than stick it in a bag, but it just looks better, and I think it's just a little bit, I don't know, a little bit more organised than having a little tool bag that you have to keep putting stuff in. I lost a lot of stuff out of it, is what I'm saying to you. But yeah, you've got all your nozzles in there, you've got space to put some more in, your cleaning tools, and the gun. So I don't actually have a Optimix gun here, obviously I sold it, and that would have gone with the machine. But yeah, let's just say this is the end of it, and then that way actually, and then the Optimix one's got like it's like a tube basically that adds onto that, and it goes down to there, and you can't take it off. It's all part of it, so it's longer like that. Now, not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to make a big thing out of it, but the reality is, for me, this is like the best gun you can get. You see this on a lot of the other thin coat machines like the Easy 24 and stuff like that. This is a shorter stub nose gun. I mean, you can get into tighter areas. It's kind of, you're holding it like that, whereas with this one you can put the pipe on your shoulder and you one hand, you know what I mean? So that easiness with the shorter gun, like I say, I think this is a more expensive gun than the other one, and yeah, it's the best one you can get, really. Good bit of kit, nice and clean, gotta keep them clean. So that's one thing that I noticed between the Optimix and the Kosner is the actual gun. Now, that's a little thing. Let me tell you how the machines operate and what pros are, and why I now, after using the Kosner, prefer the Kosner. All this other stuff I've just talked about is all technical jargon. You know, it don't really mean anything to us. We're renderers, we want to do the job. That's all that matters. They're pretty similar in performance as far as the makeup of them. The weight thing is quite a big difference. I've told you the weights there without the the compressors on, because I know the Optimix comes with a built-on compressor that you can take off with a couple of bolts, and I think that's good that it does actually go on there as a unit. But the reality is you have to take that unit off to be able to lift it into the back of a van, unless there's two of you. You have to take that off because it weighs too much with the compressor on. The compressor weighs a lot. So the actual design of it, I found that my compressor got blathered a lot, and it got to really bad condition as far as obviously as it's turning and pumping gear through, it pumps up. When you're dropping material in, it splashes up, you know. So I just found that the compressor got, you know, the design part of it, maybe if they put something in front of it to block it would have been a little bit better, but the design part of it just meant the compressor constantly got battered. Mine didn't break, but I know other people's did, so that was something that I didn't really like as a design point, but it's not end of the world. So yeah, it comes you know, it comes with a good compressor. It sits on top, you can bolt it on, it's good. The Kosner comes with a compressor of its own. Now the compressor is I think it's about 30 odd kilos itself, the compressor, but it comes with big chunky wheels. It's easy to maneuver, and again, it's something that is you know when they design something so it just balances nice. So if you've got a weight of something, right, and you load a bar up, you're going to do a deadlift, and you put an extra 10 kilos on one side, when you lift that bar up, you're going to go like that, because you know, well, you don't even know. It's just what it is. It's science, mate. That's what it does. It's not balanced. It's not built properly. It's not balanced. You haven't weighed it out right. So when you lift it, you're going like that. When you lift this compressor up, you don't get none of that. When you lift the Kosner up, you don't get any of that. So I just feel like the design's a bit better. It's probably been thought about a bit more. So the compressor and the machine are both like that. I can lift them both and don't feel like I'm going to tilt one way or the other. So yeah, separate compressor. It's a beast. Now, this is where I am going to say, for the price that these machines cost, you are getting more value with the Kosner because of this. Overall, I'm going to go into something else, actually. I'm not even going to jump the gun yet, but I will go into something else at the end, which will make you think, wow, well, that's the reason why. Okay. But anyway, the compressor alone is worth more than, well, I don't know price-wise if it would if you took the compressor off of the Optimix. So this is not the point. We are getting a standalone unit with this machine for the same price as an Optimix, yeah? A standalone unit that you can then go use with your hopper gun. You can use it to inflate tires. Let me see if I can get it up here. Yeah, so I've just pulled it up there, and it says you can use it with, you know, obviously it's a standalone compressor. You can use this with other air tools as well. So you can actually use it with like a stapler. I'm not sure if it's a nail gun that they're referring to, but it says stapler on the website. Inflation handle, and then a droplet spray gun. So these are the type of things that you can use it for more. Whereas the compressor that's on the Optimix, it's literally just for the Optimix, and that's what it is. It's operated from the Optimix. It's powered by the Optimix. It's set up by the Optimix. It is literally just for that machine. It can't be used for anything else without messing about with it. Obviously, you could add stuff to it and change stuff like that, but the power outlet is actually for the Optimix. The power's on the side of the machine. So that's something else. It is a standalone unit, and that's what it sticks at. That's what it is. The compressor stays with that machine. You can't do anything else with it. Whereas this is its own. So you're basically getting two machines in that price there. You know, I don't know what it is, but my tires on every car or van or truck I've ever had seem to go down all the time. So a compressor is necessary for me, and it's good to have it in the unit, and I can use it to pump up tires. But yeah, like I say, hopefully it's spraying more thin coat than it is spraying air into tires. But my point is, as a standalone unit, it's got its advantages. Now, this is another thing about this. I've told you that it can do tires and all that kind of jazz, but let me tell you what really and truly I found as a benefit in the last couple of jobs that I've done using one of these. This is where it comes in handy. So don't get me wrong, Optimix, people will say that with the Optimix, you can spray with an handheld up with the Optimix. But who wants to pull out a full machine that has to power up the compressor to then adapt it to change something, to then put it onto this to go spray gear? With this, all you need to do with this compressor is stick the airline, instead of going into the actual Kosner, the airline, you stick it into this, and you've got an handheld hopper. Simple as that. So I have actually used the hopper on the last few jobs that I've done, because it just made sense for me to use them. Areas were tight, the locations were tight for me to get into, and it just made sense for me to pull out a hopper gun. That's the benefit of it. So all in that price of 4.5, which is the same as the Optimix, the Kosner and Optimix, exactly the same price, but you're kind of getting more options with the Kosner. Now, this one, everything I've just said, this is the one I want you to take in and listen to. This is the one that I want you to really judge the machines on. And this is important, okay? So when you get into spray and render and you start, doing well, you get an Optimix, you get a Kosner, you're doing your base coat, your labourers mixing up, you're going to get confident and you are going to want to get a bigger machine to chuck on your base coats or your monocouches, right? That's just a given. That's what happens. It's a natural progress. That is what is going to happen. These machines both spray top coat. Now, I stopped spraying top coat with my Optimix down to the fact of I couldn't control the speed of it. So you have got an adjuster on there and you can go fast or slow, but the actual speed of it, I found on some projects where, again, scaffolding might be a bit difficult, areas might be a little bit tight for me to get into. I needed it a little bit slow. I needed more control of what I was actually doing. It couldn't go down to the actual speed I needed it to be controllable for me. Now, I'm an experienced top coat sprayer. I've been spraying. All I do is spray jobs. I very rarely hand apply. So it's something that I've done. I've used other machines. Pardon me. Easy 24. I've used a swing. I've used an M200 to spray top coat. And this is where it's really important that we can get the speed down so slow and have so much control with our gun that it's going to make me decide to get this machine just because of that, just because of the speed. So the Kosner can go down slower than the Optimix spray top coat. So this is where, as a professional, you're going to want that control, and you will not get it with the Optimix. It's as simple as that. You will not get it. You won't be able to get that machine slow enough, and it's something that I wanted to do. It's something that I asked people who I was working with when I worked over at the company over there. I asked them, and it just wasn't possible. It just couldn't do it. The machine couldn't go slower, and that's just what it is. So I did use it to spray top coat jobs, but if you see the jobs that I actually used it to spray my top coat with, there was open plan areas, there were big spaces where I could be quick. I could just, bounce around and just bump, and not a problem. But anything where extensions, I need to be in control, little intricate bits where I might be wanting to go up to a wall that I don't really want to fully blown tape up the full side of the house. I just want to be able to put a little 550 drop down on and go up and go nicely into the corner. That's the difference. That is the difference. So that for me on its own is a big thing. It's a big deal. And as you progress in your career, the actual need for the machine, because once you buy a mixing machine after getting one of these machines, after getting a mixing machine, you only want one to do your top coating then. So my Kosner is only going to be used to do my top coating and my base coating for EWI, which is a whole nother video that I'm going to be talking about that on, because it is going to be mind-blowing for that. But I'm on about what I would recommend and why I believe this is better. And yeah, it's going to be surplus to requirements eventually as you move on, because you're not going to use it for your top coating because it's just too fast. And when it comes to base coating, you'll just be pulling out your mixing machine. You might have the odd garden wall where you might want to use your Optimix to do it and stuff like that. That's fair enough. But overall, as you move on in your career, it's going to be surplus. And it's something I never thought I would say until I actually used this. Well, I can say surplus because I've got the opportunity and the options to use these machines. Whereas if I understand, people, you can get a good deal over there, as far as paying stuff off and finance and stuff like that. But again, it's something that in the end, it's not going to really be worth it when you're stuck with something that you're not going to use. But that's another video and that's another conversation for another day. My point is this: Kosner and the Optimix are more or less on par with a lot of things. The Kosner just has more options as far as using stuff like this alone. Don't have to bring the machine along to use the compressor. Good compressor. I mean, that unit there, just looks, the build of it and everything like that, it must be a bomb. It's got more options with the Kosner. And the big one for me is the finish and control. The finish is so much better with the Kosner because you've got more control. Simple as that. Simple as that. There's no more to say about it. Only thing I would add is I would like a little bit more hose with it, but again, it's not a big deal. I'd take a little bit off of the Optimix, so it's near there, swings and roundabouts. Do you know what I mean? But that's my honest opinion. So if people are asking me what I would get, Money's not the option. Money is not the deal breaker here, because they are on the same price, exactly the same price, but you're getting more bang for your buck with a Kosner. It's just as simple as that. You're getting more options. You've got a separate compressor. You've got a slower machine, and then it can speed up and do your base coats as well. So yeah, for me, just as a professional, Kosner beats the Optimix. Not going to say it thrashes it, but it beats it. As far as control goes, I've used all the fin coat machines. Kosner's got the best control out of all of them. Simple as that. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that helps you make a decision. And if you do want to look at a Kosner, give us a shout. I can put you in touch with the guys and they can arrange it for you.